In this video I want to show you my favorite ways of hosting n8n. I like the normal plan from n8n because we can also start for free, so you can basically just click on it, follow the course along, do it for 2 weeks for free and then simply decide for yourself if you want to host it. But I also want to show you how you can do self-hosting, and you can absolutely do self-hosting completely for free, but the only downside is if you do self-hosting for free, your instance will spin down as soon as the server disconnects, and this can happen from time to time, so your workflows will not be saved. This is of course a gigantic downside. If you want to self-host it forever, you can also do it on things like render.com and so on. Here you need to pay, I think, like $7 a month, but don't worry, like you can start with all of this for free, and then you need to decide for yourself if you want to host these applications forever. You need to pay a little bit, but of course you can sell these applications and you can have them online for you forever, and you can access them with your phone over Telegram, over WhatsApp, over whatever. So I think it's absolutely worth to try this out, because like trying is completely for free. You can host them just like I told you in n8n for free for 2 weeks, and also in render.com forever for free, but in render they will spin down your workflows after the server restarts. So the first thing that I like to do is to simply Google n8n. You can press on this first link, and here you see that you can simply press get started for free. And if you press on these, you can simply log yourself in with your email address, with a password and so on, and then you can test this thing out completely for free without a credit card for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks they will ask you if you want to pay, if you want to do an upgrade. And if you ask yourself what's the pricing after these 2 weeks, we can simply come to the pricing, and then you see the starter plan. That's the plan that I use right now. It costs $20 a month. You can have 2,500 workflow executions and 5 active workflows. You have 1 shared project, 5 concurrent executions, unlimited users, and the forum support. Then you have the Pro plan, it's $50 a month, then 1,000 workflow executions and 15 active workflows. And then you can also go on Enterprise, and of course with the Enterprise plan you can contact n8n yourself. And of course you have the option to pay either annually or monthly. If you come here onto the documentation and press on self-host n8n, you get all the options that you can use. And here you find a really good and detailed documentation. So self-hosting n8n, here you find everything. The Docker installation guide, everything about the environment variables. We will need them later, so let's just open this up. Then the user and authentication. Then if you want to scale, here's the stuff from scaling, securing n8n, and then of course the starter kits. And on the left side is of course community versus enterprise. You can see for yourself what you get and what you not get. I already told you this just as a brief overview. And you see for the installation you can of course use npm, so over Node.js, we already did these. Then you can use Docker, as I told you, but the important stuff is this right here, the server setup. You can use DigitalOcean, you can use Heroku, you can use Hetzner, you can use AWS or Amazon Web Services, you can use Azure, Google Cloud, or Docker Compose. So this is the stuff that is already included in n8n with a really great documentation. What I like to do the most, or at least I find it really practical that way, is to use Render. Because on render.com we can self-host either completely for free with spinning down our instances from time to time, or we can simply pay $7 a month, and I think like $7 is really fair for a self-hosted instance. So let's just go over render.com and do it. Before we do this, I need to make something clear once again. If you simply come onto this website and press get started for free, you can follow along with this course completely for free, because you get access 2 weeks completely for free. If you want to self-host it on other ways, you can also do it. Maybe you can self-host it on your own server for free. You can also self-host with render.com for free, but then your instance will spin down, or you can pay for render. And later, if you want to do it with n8n, you also need to pay. So remember, you can follow everything completely for free. If you come over to render.com, you can simply make yourself an account here. This will be relatively fast, so simply connect yourself with Google, you click get started for free, and then you come to your dashboard. Here you see that I have already a lot of instances. Most likely this thing will be completely empty for you, so you can simply create something. You can scroll up and press add new in the right corner, so press on these. And we want to have a web service. And here you need to connect your GitHub profile. If you do not have a GitHub profile, we need to make a GitHub profile right now. You simply Google GitHub, you press on the web page, and then you press either sign in or sign up. Of course, it depends if you have a profile or not. You can simply make yourself an account with an email address. I just press sign in because I already have an account. As soon as you are here in GitHub, you need to search for n8n. So you go here on search, and then you search for n8n, and normally the first instance should be the right one. Yes, it's this right here that has a lot of stars. Now you are in this GitHub project with your GitHub profile. This is important. What you want to do right now is to press fork, or you press on these right here, and then create new fork. You see, I already have a fork, but if you do not have one, you press on create a new fork. Here you just need to click OK. Like I said, I already have a fork, so I can simply press on my fork. Then it will look something like this. So basically everything that you have is n8n in your GitHub profile. This is important. And by the way, while we are here right now, I want to show you how we can make updates to this GitHub profile. You can simply press on synchronize fork and update branch. So you know it, n8n will make updates all the time. And you simply can press on synchronize fork and update branch, and then this thing will be completely up to date all day long. This is really fast, this is really easy. You can do this from time to time. As soon as you have this forked in your GitHub profile and as soon as you are up to date, you can come back to render. And here on render, you need to go to Git provider. Most likely you have not connected your GitHub profile, and that's why you would need to press here and connect your GitHub profile. As soon as you are connected, you will see some instances that you can connect. In my example, this is right now, of course, my n8n instance. And now we simply press connect. And then here you see the source code, and it was, of course, updated 2 minutes ago, so this is perfect. You can give it a name if you want. n8n3 is perfect for me. Then the project is optional, so I don't do it. The language is Node. The branch is master. You can leave it here or also use Frankfurt, like this doesn't really matter. The root directory is just optional, and because we used as the language node, we have of course automatically the build commands. The build commands are of course pnpm install and pnpm run start. So this is basically working right now, and then you see this right here, the instance type. You can either use a free plan or you can use the starter plan. Like I told you, if you use the free plan, if you press on it, you already see it. Upgrade to enable more features. Free instances spin down after periods of inactivity. They do not support SSH access, scaling, one-off jobs or persistent disks. Select any paid instance type to enable these features. So basically, you can use this, you can self-host for free, but all of your workflows will get deleted over time. This can happen as soon as a server spins down, or this can also happen just randomly, like this is not the most secure stuff. Generally speaking, what you can do right now is to simply use the free plan, and you can also upgrade your plan later if you want. And just to follow these tutorials, you can also press here get started for free, so you already know it. So choose for yourself what you want to do. This is the easiest way, the fastest way, 2 weeks for free. This thing is forever for free, but will spin down. And if you want to sell these applications, just think about if you want to have this plan for 20 euros a month, or $20 a month roughly, or if you want to have this starter plan for $7 a month. Generally speaking, this is cheaper, but here you need to do a few more clicks. If you just want to follow for free here, you can simply press on these, then you scroll down, and everything that you have to do is to simply press deploy web service. Because this is so easy, I just want to show you how you would do it in the starter plan. Because in the starter plan you have a lot of things that you can include and that you also should include. You basically can scroll down, and here you have then also the advanced stuff with disks and so on. And right now I want to show you how we can do this. So if you want to pay for this now, just use this. And you also need to give the credit card, of course. Then we can scroll down and we want to go on to advanced, and on advanced we want to press add disk so that we can have a persistent disk. This is really important. The size can be just 1 GB. This is more than big enough. And here we need to give the mount path. And if you press on it, like for me it's nearly instant or automatically because I have already made a few of them, you see we can use something like this. So it's basically /opt/render/dot, but not Flowise in this example. It's of course n8n. Then the size as 1 GB, like I told you. And then the rest down here is completely fine, but what's not fine is this right here. The variables. We need to have some variables. So environment variables, we need to type this in. We can simply press on these. And you see right here that we need to type in everything big. So let's just take big letters. What we want to type in is n8n _ editor _ URL. The fastest way to get this value would probably be if you would scroll down and press deploy web service. Then you get in your projects this thing's running, and you can copy simply this thing right here. You can come back and copy this value here in. This would be basically the fastest thing. Then we need to add a new environment variable. So please just make one for free first. And then you go on with this once again. After it, we need of course a n8n _ host. And that's basically once again the same URL, but this time without the HTTP. So basically something like this. Then we want to have the n8n port, excuse me, of course with an underscore, and it's 443. Then add new n8n _ protocol, and that's of course HTTPS. And now the last one, I promise, add new n8n _ user _ folder. And that's basically the same value as we have here on the mount path on our disk. So we can copy these and throw it in here as value. And everything that you have to do right now is to simply scroll down and press deploy web service. But first of all, you need to remember, do you want to have it for free or do you want to have the starter package? If you insert your credit card, you starter, include these things down here, and then you press deploy web service, then you need to pay. I just want to press deploy web service. I have used the free one for this tutorial. It's just for the sake of this tutorial because I have already some paid ones. So here you see your free instance will spin down with inactivity and so on. But if you use it with the paid plan, this will look completely similar. And right now this thing will take a little bit until we can start it. And as soon as this is deployed, you can simply go onto this web page, onto this URL, and then you can launch your instance. And remember, every time that you want to do updates, just come to your GitHub profile and press here synchronize fork, and then you are basically ready to rock with your updates. So let's just wait until this thing is completely done. After a while you will find this right here, build successful, deploying and so on, and then you need to wait just for a little bit. And then as soon as everything is done, you will find your project also here, and you can press on your projects. And from here on, you can either upgrade your instance later, but if you just want to test, you simply press on this link right here, and then you are basically in n8n, and your instance will be completely empty. And then we can start building in a cloud version. And in the next video we will start to build in these cloud versions. I will use most likely one of my accounts where I use n8n directly from their servers because I like it that they do everything for me. And that's why I use also the plan from n8n. So I use basically the plan from n8n. I also do self-hosting on renders for some instances, and I use it locally. So I do all of it. See you of course in the next video as soon as we start to work in these cloud interfaces. So in this video you have learned a lot of options how you can host your n8n services. You want to host them first of all For accessing n8n from everywhere. You can access it from other computers, you can access it from your phone, you can also use the Telegram trigger nodes and do a lot more. The fastest and easiest way is to start with the free plan of n8n. Just press start and you can test this for free. This is perfect for the tutorials in this course. If you want to do self-hosting, what I like to do is to use render. If you just want to test, use the free plan, but your instances will spin down most likely every day. If you want to self-host it forever, you need to pay either the $7 to render, or you can pay roughly $20 to n8n, and n8n makes it a lot easier. You can also self-host it on your own servers with Docker. You can use AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and so on. So basically you have unlimited options, so please choose your weapon wisely. Have fun with the self-hosting and use the n8n plan if you just want to follow with these tutorials. In this video we will create a simple workflow and we want to integrate it into WhatsApp. So the goal is basically that you have ChatGPT in WhatsApp. You can chat with ChatGPT in WhatsApp. Later we will make these things, of course, also a lot bigger, so that you can basically control whole agents out of WhatsApp or Telegram. But right now we need to start easy. The first thing is, of course, that we are right now in a Cloud account. You can see it also here, arni.app.n8n.cloud/home/workflows. So basically I am in the n8n plan from me, but you can be right now in render, in your self-hosted server or wherever. If you simply are in this 2-week trial from n8n, this is completely fine. If you are on your local instance, it is totally possible that you get errors with these triggers that are on WhatsApp or Telegram. Because like it's hard with your local instance to call WhatsApp and Telegram and so on. It is totally possible that n8n will fix these things, but for now you need to be on a hosted plan. You need to be in the cloud. The first thing is, of course, that we press create workflow. And let's just give it a name. So we make this like WhatsApp test. We simply want to connect WhatsApp with this workflow so that we have ChatGPT on our phone in WhatsApp all day long. So the first thing is plus. For me it's right now important that I want to show you the basics. So we use our WhatsApp Business Cloud. You can press on these. And here you have a lot of triggers. On account review update, on account update, on business capability update, on message template quality update, on phone number updates, on security and so on. What I like to use for this workflow is on message. We simply want to integrate ChatGPT in WhatsApp. If you press on this node, right now I already have a WhatsApp account. But if you do not have one, of course we need to create one. And this is a little bit tricky for some people, and that's why I want to create a new one and I want to show you exactly how this works. You press on create new credentials. Here you need once again a client ID and a client secret, and I want to show you where we get these client IDs and secrets for WhatsApp. You can also, as always, open your documentation and then you find what you need to do. You can trigger these 2 nodes, but you need 2 things right here. You need to have a Meta developer account and you need to have, of course, the Meta business app. So you need to have WhatsApp for business. So the first thing is, of course, to open up this link, and then we are right now at developers.facebook.com. If you do not have any account here, please just make your normal process. So just make an account. You can see it right here. I have a Facebook account, I have WhatsApp business account, so I am already connected. And by the way, if you simply go on the normal web page, so developers.facebook.com without these, if you are simply here, also this will completely work. If you do not have any apps, here on the right corner will be a button that says Start. Don't worry, this is in German for me, at least right now at this minute. This will be in English for you. And in the right upper corner is either the button Start or My Apps. And you press on this button. This will be empty for you. And here is the button Create App, so you can simply press on Create App. Here you need to give a name. For me it's n8n course. And we press Accept. This right here is called the use cases and we simply use others. So down here and we go on. Now right now this thing switches for me to Italian, so please just with these languages. I am from Italy, I live in Italy, normally I speak German, so this thing switches up languages for us, but please don't worry, this will be English for you or whatever language you want. What you want to click is this first thing, this should be called business in your case, and we go on. And then the business portfolio, this is optional, so we do not have to use this. So we press create app. Right now you need to give your password from Facebook, so I will type it in. And we go on. And here you can see what you can connect. If you want to connect Instagram later, you can do it completely the same way. But right now we want to use WhatsApp, so we press on the WhatsApp button. What I want to do is right now to go onto the left side and press on app settings. So this is called settings. We go on overall. Then we are here and you see the app ID and the secret ID. So first of all, of course, we copy the app ID. We come back into n8n. This is the client ID, app ID, client ID. This is all the same stuff. Then we come back into Facebook once again. And then we want to have the secret code. So basically what you have to do is to press here, show, that you can see your whole code. Then you need to copy your whole code. We come back into n8n and we throw the whole code down in here and we press save. And now this thing should be green. So we are connected successfully and that's always a good thing. And that's basically all that you need to do. And here you see the trigger on is of course message. We want to chat with this thing. So this first step is right now connected successfully. This was already it. Now we want to press plus, and what I want to use is advanced AI and AI agent. We simply want to have an AI agent node. We use the tool agent, connect chat trigger node. This is of course perfect. As soon as we chat with WhatsApp, this thing will get its prompt. Then we need, of course, as always, a chat model. I like to use the OpenAI models because I like them. Let's just use GPT-4o mini and we are connected. What I like to include most of the time is memory, so I simply use a Windows buffer memory, and I want that this thing knows for 10 messages about what stuff we are talking about. And right now we can simply chat with this thing, but this thing will not chat back. But of course it would be nice if this thing would chat back. So we press plus once again, and once again we use of course WhatsApp, our WhatsApp Business Cloud account. And what we want to use right now is of course send message, so that this thing will be triggered by WhatsApp, generate the response with this AI agent, and then talks back also via WhatsApp. And right now something is special. If you click on these, I already have an account. You will most likely not have an account. If you press on this trigger node, you see that we have here WhatsApp OAuth account 2. And this thing will not work here. We need once again new credentials. So we press on new credentials, and here you need an access token and the business account ID. And you get this, you guessed it right, also once again from Facebook. So what we want to do is to come back into this console, and here you need to press on WhatsApp on the left side, and we need to press on the API setup. First we need a token. This thing is empty. So we simply press create token. We need to go on as Arnie with my Facebook account. We simply use this WhatsApp business account here, so it's a little bit easier, and we go on. And we press save and go on. Right now we have here this token and we can copy this token. So we copy this access token, we come back into n8n and we throw in the access token here. Then we come back into Facebook once again, because what we need to do right now is to use another phone number. We already have this number. And we have also this number. This is for our business accounts. And then we need our next number. This is from my phone right now, so I will not show this number. So you press on here, you use your number, and then you are set. And then we need to copy one last thing. It's the ID. So you can simply copy this ID. We come back into n8n and we throw in the business account ID right here and we press save. And right now you see also this thing is green, and green, as you know, is always good. So we can close this down. Now you see we are connected, resource is message, the operation is sent, and here we need the sender phone number and the recipient's phone number, of course. On sender phone number or ID, you can simply press on it, and you can simply use this test number because we have used this test number in our Facebook account. Then the recipient's number, this is right now of course my number, and you always need to type in the stuff that comes before your number. So for Italy it's basically +39, and then I need to type in my number that I will pixel right now, and boom, there we have it. And the text body, here we need some data later. Just to test this, let's just use success, so that we can simply see if this is working or not. And what I want to do right now is to close this down, and now I will open up WhatsApp. You can open up WhatsApp on your phone, but I will open up WhatsApp of course on my computer so that you can see it on my screen. So WhatsApp is open right now and we need to add a number. So we press here, we press on this numbers field, and now we need to type in a number. And you will find the number here. It's basically this test number that you need to type in. So it starts with 1, so it's +1 for USA, +1, 555, 1865. This is basically this number. And now we can simply press chat. And right now I can chat with this thing. This chat will be empty for you, but I have already talked with this thing in previous conversations. So I have some text here that is in German, but right now we will chat with this thing of course in English. What we want to do right now is of course to test these. So we come back here into n8n, you can press test workflow, just to test it. Later you can of course make this from inactive to active, and then we can talk with this thing always. I just want to talk to this thing like with hey for example. I think we will get an error because the Windows buffer memory has no chat signal for its context, but let's just see, at least the first node should get triggered. So I want to type in hey right now. And I send this out, and there you see it, error in subnode, window buffer memory. So we need to set up of course our Windows buffer memory. So we press on this window buffer memory. Here we need to press on defined below, and on defined below we need to give of course an expression. And the expression will be a code, and I will give you this code. Basically it's just this WhatsApp trigger node in a variable, and it looks something like this. 2 curly brackets, $sign. We open up a normal bracket, we use the WhatsApp trigger, then we close the bracket, .item.json.contracts, another bracket with 0, .WhatsApp ID, and we close our 2 curly brackets, and the result is then of course my phone number that I will pixelate right now. And then we have everything included. So don't worry, I will give you this code, you can also just screenshot this code and throw it in here, and then this Windows buffer memory will be set up. So if you have any problems, just use my code. And if you do not connect this Windows buffer memory, you do not have to do this step. So you could also just delete this stuff and then it will also work. The Windows buffer memory is set up correctly. What we need to do right now is of course to set up the prompt, because our AI agent node needs the prompt from the previous node, from the WhatsApp trigger node. So we press on the AI agent. Then what we need to do right here is to press here, defined below, and here we want to have the text, and the text is of course the stuff that comes through. So basically the text body that comes here through. So it was hey, our test was just hey, so we throw in the body here, and then this thing will be a variable that will display it in our AI agent node. So right now our workflow should work. We press test workflow once again. I want to open up WhatsApp once again, and I simply type in hey once again, and if everything is correct I would get the word success, because we have hard coded the word success in our last node here. So let's just send this out. You see this stuff in the background is working, and we get right now the word success. But of course it's not our goal to get success here back. Our goal is of course to get everything correctly back, so the answer from our AI agent node. And in order to get this we need to update the last node, so we press on it. And here once again we have the text body. The text body is never success, so we can delete this. We can make an expression out of these. And the body is of course the output from the AI agent node, as you see here. Hello, how can I assist you today? Was the answer from our AI agent node. So we simply throw in this stuff right here. And now this thing should completely work. So we can close this down once again. We press test workflow once again. We open up WhatsApp and we type in hey also once again. And then this thing will talk back to me. Hey again, what's on your mind? In order to have more conversations, we throw this thing from inactive to active, so that we can simply always chat with this thing. We can press got it, and I want to tell this thing my name is Arnie. Nice to meet you, Arnie. How can I assist you today? And then, of course, we can ask once again, what is my name? Just to test if our AI agent is working correctly, if the Windows buffer memory is working correctly. Your name is Arnie, how can I help you today? So this thing is working. Our workflow works, the Windows buffer memory works, we have included ChatGPT into WhatsApp. And what you can do next is, of course, to add tools. So you can simply press plus, and here you can add all the tools that you want to add. You can insert, for example, vector databases. What I want to do right now is to add a calculator. This is our first tool. Then I want to add a second tool. So I press plus once again, and I want to use Wikipedia to search the web. So Wikipedia is also included. Then I want to add a third tool. Let's just say you also want to send mails from this tool. So you simply press on the Gmail tool, we connect our Gmail account, set automatically, resources message, operation is sent to, the AI should decide, subject, the AI should decide, email type, HTML is okay, but we can also use text command, we can make this easier, and the message, we let the AI decide. So the AI has basically decided everything for us. And right now we have connected also our Gmail tool. Yeah, it's not really connected. We need to connect it right now. Excuse me. So boom, into tools. And right now we should make a system prompt, of course. So we go on our AI agent. You already know how we can make the system prompts. You can simply press on add options, system message, expression. We will make it back. And right now I just want to make a simple system prompt. Let's just use our AI agent. I have a simple agent. It is a personal assistant. It has the send mail tool and Wikipedia. We send this out. There we have it. So we press copy. We come back in here. We throw this stuff in. So system prompt for agent is not really that relevant. We can also delete this. So role, you are a personal assistant and so on. Capabilities, you have access to the following tools. Send mail, use this tool to send mail and so on. Yes, Wikipedia, yes. Behavior, yes. Restrictions, yes. That's basically it. What we also can do is eventually like time and date. Then we do 2 curly brackets, $sign, and let's just use now. So that this thing also always knows the time. You see it here. Our time is of course this right here. This can be practical if we ask, for example, for some stuff that is like really important and where it needs to have time and date. So we basically have everything. So let's just test this thing out. It is of course active, but in order to see if we are using these tools correctly, I just want to press test workflow and send it to inactive. And we type in what is 99 times 99 times 2. I just want to see if the calculator is working or not. I send it out. It gets triggered. We get the answer back. And of course we used the calculator. Now let's just send a mail. Test workflow once again. Send a mail to my mail. Write him a poem about AI agents. And I send it out. It gets triggered. This tool tells me I've sent the poem about AI agents to Arnie with this mail. If you need any further assistance and so on, let me know. Let's just close this. You see the Gmail tool is green. And if I come to my mails, you see the time is right now. I already have this thing. A poem about AI agents. Dear Arnie, I hope this message finds you well. Here's a little poem I wrote about AI agents. Here we have the poems, and lastly, warm regards, Arnie. This email was sent automatically with n8n. You already know how you can throw this away. We come back to n8n, we go on Gmail, add option, append n8n attribution, we throw it off. We can also search Wikipedia, of course. Test workflow. How heavy is a lion according to Wikipedia? Like, we do not really need Wikipedia for these, but let's just use it for the sake of this tutorial. And if we come back to our AI agent, you see that Wikipedia was used. So we assume that everything from this agent works. Of course, you can go on. You can press plus and you can add, for example, the calendar. And with the calendar tool, you can also set stuff in your calendar so you can make everything work from WhatsApp. But the calendar tool is something for a later video. Right now, I just wanted to show you how you can make these agents with WhatsApp. Congratulations, you know how you can include ChatGPT and complete AI agents into WhatsApp. You are a pro. You can make whatever you want and you can call it from WhatsApp, from anywhere. And remember, as soon as this thing is active here, you can simply use your phone. And with your phone, you can go on wherever and you can access your agent over WhatsApp. If you work in the cloud, so if you say, got it here, and you have this hosted, for example, on Render or on n8n directly. You can have this, for example, at active. You can be at work, you can be in your car, you can be wherever, and you can type into WhatsApp, send a mail to XYZ, and the agent will work for you on your behalf. This is of course really, really powerful. And you also know that WhatsApp, like you can talk with WhatsApp, so you can also add a lot of more stuff here, but more on these things later. And I think we will use Telegram for this, because I think like Telegram is also the node that most of the people like to use, because WhatsApp also tends to spin down from time to time. So I'll see you of course in the next video, because from now on it gets more and more exciting. In this video we will create an agent that we can trigger out from Telegram. This seems to be one of the most popular use cases. First of all, it's relatively easy. Second, they never spin down. And third, you can make like gigantic workflows with these and you can access them from your phone from wherever you like. So let's just start out. In this video we will do it relatively easy. We will make an easy to follow step-by-step tutorial as always. We will integrate also a research agent, so we will call another workflow. And then in the next video, of course, we will go one step further and make some bigger workflows. So first of all, let's just create a workflow. Then we start with plus. First of all, we need, of course, the Telegram trigger node. So we press on Telegram. And what we want to use, of course, is to use the on message trigger, and then you are connected. Now here you see I already have a few Telegram accounts, but of course most likely you have none, so you press of course create new credentials, and now we need these credentials. You can also press on open documentation once again to see for yourself how this works. What you need of course is a Telegram account, and you can also follow always this documentation. Here you are in Telegram and you can make an account. I will not show you how to do this because like everybody should be able to create an account into Telegram. But what's a little bit tricky, at least for some people, is the API bot access token. This will refer to the Telegram bot API. Of course, you also have a documentation here and you will get the Telegram bot features. Of course, you can also integrate this with webhooks, but webhooks make it more confusing than it should be. So basically, instead of this trigger node, you could eventually also use another trigger node. You could trigger Telegram also via webhook, more on webhooks later, but for now let's just keep it simple and we use this trigger node. And in order to use this trigger node, you need your access token from Telegram, and of course you need the good old botfetter to do that. So we simply open the botfetter. Now you are here, and what I like to do is to simply open Telegram on my desktop, and then we need to start with this botfetter. I have Telegram already installed. And of course I have also this botfetter. So please just install Telegram first on your machine here and also on your phone if you want to access it from your phone, and then simply press on this button to open it on your desktop. Then you will be in this chat, and in this chat you can simply talk to this thing. So you can simply type in /new bot in order to create a new bot. If you simply type in /, you see all the commands. You find /new bot, /my bot, /my apps and so on. The first thing that you need to do is to press new bot. And then you can simply talk to this thing or write a new bot. How are we going to call it? Please choose a name for your bot. Let's just call it n8n_course_test, and we send this out. Good, now let's just use a username for your bot. It must end with bot. So, and here is an example, Tetris bot. What we want to do is, let's just call it n8n_, also here, course_bot. Let's just use two e's here so that we are not confused, and we send this out. And now we get the things back that we need. We have this chat, we can simply press on this chat to access this bot later, but the most important thing right now is of course this token. We can access this also with HTTP requests. This is simply our token and we need to copy this token. We come back into n8n. we create, of course, a new credentials just like we did previously. Then the access token, we simply throw in this access token here. The base URL is, of course, the Telegram API. This is automatically included. Then we press save, and this thing should be green right now. Boom, there we have it, and you know it. Green is good. Then you can close this down, and right now, in theory at least, we can simply press test workflow and we can trigger this workflow. If we come into Telegram, we can simply press on this bot here. Now we are in n8n course test, and you can simply press start. Then we send it out /start to our Telegram trigger node, and you see that everything seems to work. If you come here, you see that from me, the text /start came through. So our first trigger node seems to work. And what I like to do right now is to give this a name. Let's just say Telegram 1. And we save this. So right now we are saved. Then we press plus, of course. What I like to do is to use advanced AI, and we want to include an AI agent. And here you see we use the tool agent. The source, so the prompt source, is right now not the user message, because here we need to press defined below, and the text should be, of course, the stuff that we send from Telegram. So if you come down here, you see text. Right now it's, of course, /start, and this thing should be working right now. Let's just test this out by pressing test workflow. Okay, before we can do that, of course, as always, excuse me, a chat model. So let's just use this OpenAI chat model with not GPT-4o mini. I think this is too weak for us. We want to use GPT-4 Omni. Right now this is connected, and now we can press test workflow. We open up Telegram and we simply type in right now, let's just say hey, and then everything should be triggered. There you see it. So we trigger these, our OpenAI node works, and the output is hello, how can I assist you today? Of course, later we will include the system prompt. For right now, we leave it as you are a helpful assistant. We will make this bigger later. So right now we can trigger these. But what I want to do is that I get my message back here in Telegram. So what we do is to press plus. Of course, we need Telegram once again. So we press on Telegram, and what we want to have is right now send a text message, because we get text back here. Of course, you connect the same API account as we had previously. The resource is message. Then the operation is, of course, also send message. Then we want to have the chat ID and the text. This thing is important. And of course, we find everything here. So the text is, of course, this output from here. So we throw it into this text field. And the chat ID, you also find it here. It's, of course, the chat ID. So not the normal ID, but the chat ID. And we want to throw in the chat ID. And right now, this thing is, of course, also set. So let's just see if this thing is talking back to us. I type in hey once again. And right now, this thing should call me back. Boom, there we are. Hello, how can I assist you today? This message was sent automatically with n8n. This is something that I do not like. So we press here plus, append n8n attribution, and we turn this off. And right now we are set. So we have our basic workflow. What I like to include is, once again, memory. I just want to show you once again what this memory means. So let's just ask something like this. What is a LLM? Then we will get, of course, our answer back. Boom, there we are. And then if I press test workflow once again, and if I ask how they are trained, my LLM will not understand what I mean by they, because it does not understand that we talk about LLMs, because we have no previous chat history. So this will be a mess right now, and the AI has simply to guess. So if you are referring how AI models are trained, so it does not know that we talk about LLMs, of course, because like we just don't have this memory. So we include memory, we press plus, we want to include the Windows buffer memory. Of course, we press here on define below, and the key is, of course, from the left side. So we simply use this chat ID, we throw it in here, and let's just use 5 messages. It's a little bit too weak. Let's just use 10 messages as our Windows buffer memory. And then, of course, we go on, and we go on with tools. What I want to do right now is I want to create a separate tool. I want to create another workflow. A workflow that will do research for us. Maybe you ask yourself why you would need sub-workflows to do that. You can eventually also just press plus here and include Wikipedia. You can also include hacker news. You can include whatever you want. You can include like a gazillion tools here. But as soon as you have too much tools, this will make problems. If you start here to attach 20 tools, this will be a complete mess, to be honest. So right now what we want to do is to press save right here. We just simply come back to personal once again, we create a workflow, we press plus, and of course right now we use, when executed by another workflow, we use this trigger node, we use accept all data so that everything can come through this tool, and we call this, let's just say Telegram 1 sub workflow search, and we save this. Then we come back to personal once again. Right now I want to set mock data, but I want to do it the good way, the easy way. We just come back to Telegram 1. We press plus here. What we want to do is call n8n workflow tool. And here, of course, we need to give this a name. Let's just call it search underscore agent. Let's just read everything small so that it does not make any mistakes. I also want to call this thing search agent. Use this tool to search the web, comma, Wikipedia, hacker news, and up-to-date info. And there we are. Then the source is of course database, and the workflow, we need to choose the right workflow right now. So we simply press on it and we use our Telegram 1 sub workflow search. I think I can write search a little bit different in this tool, but come on, this works for right now. Right now we have this sub workflow. So we press also here, rename, we use this. Right now we are set. And what we want to do right now is to come to the system prompt, come on expression, make it big. You're a helpful assistant. Then I want to do it really easy. You have tools. Then we come back. Let's just see, it was the search agent. New line. Use this tool to search the web, hacker, news, and Wikipedia. So we have right now a really simple system prompt, and what we want to do right now is we simply want to call this workflow, but just so that we get mock data. So we press save once again, test workflow, search the news from Anthropic, we send this out, and then we will get an answer back that will most likely not work. You see, we triggered the search agent, but the search agent, at least right now, has no access to the internet, but of course we will give access to the internet. So we get an answer, but the answer will not be great. It will have not searched the web because we need to give access to the web with the search agent. So what we want to do is to press back on personal, Telegram sub workflow 1. Then if we come to executions, you see that one execution comes through here. If you press on these, you see that we got also the query here, Anthropic news. If we come back to JSON, this is just for mock data that we can play with this thing a little bit later. So I want to copy these. We come back, editor, we press on these, then we set mock data. We do not need all of this, so delete it, include this thing right here, also delete that. Boom, there we have our mock data, so I want to press save here. This is just so that we can test this workflow out without always calling it by our other workflow. Then we press plus, we use the advanced AI agent, the AI agent node, we use the tool agent, we use define below, and the text is of course the query that comes here through. Then we give a system prompt, we press on these, system message, expression, let's just make it big. You are a helpful, not assistant, let's just say research agent. You use your tools to search the web. So we make it really simple, really easy. You can nail this down a little bit more if you want, but we can also do this later as soon as we have our tools included. Now, first of all, we need a chat model. Once again, I just use OpenAI. I want to use once again GPT-4o, so the bigger model, but you can also use the smaller model if you want to do it cheaper. We do not need any memory for these, but what we want to have is of course the tools. And here on these tools, I want to use, let's just say Wikipedia. This is just one thing that I want to include. Then the other thing that I want to include is of course, let's just say hacker news. So the hacker news tool, set automatically, article. It's of course get, and the article ID, we do not really need the ID, so we simply leave it as it is. If you want to make this better, you can also use all as the resources, then the operation is get many. Instead of return all, you can also give like a hard-coded limit here. Let's just say you do not want to use more than like 20 articles or something like this. And then you also can use additional fields. And if you press on add fields, you can search for keywords. And what I want to do is to simply press let the AI decide. So we will get a JavaScript variable, and the keyword from our query here would most likely be Anthropic or Anthropic news. And you can make this also however you want. If you search a big query here, the AI will simply define what the most related keywords are, and then you get a better answer. And boom, there we have hacker news. And what I also want to include is, let's just say, I want to have the Google API, so we press plus, and we want to use the SERP API. It's the Google Search API. We simply press on these. You need to have an account if you do not have any account. So you simply press create new credentials, and then you need to include your API key from the SERP API. In order to get these, of course, you can always go to the documentation. And this thing will simply tell you how to do it. Create a SERP API account. You can simply open this up. Then you need to register. In my case, I already am registered, so I simply sign in. As soon as you are signed in, you can press on API key. You can regenerate an API key. I already have one, so I simply copy this key. I come back into n8n and I throw in my key here and I press save. And boom, there we are connected, and you know it like green is good. So we are also connected with the SERP API. So this thing can now search Wikipedia, Hacker News, and the SERP API. And if you want to make this a little bit better, in the system prompt, you can also define it. Use your tools to search the web. You have access to Hacker News, Wikipedia, and the SERP API. Search them all or use the right one. So generally speaking, our AI is also like smart enough to decide for what tool should get used, but you can also specify it, of course, in the system prompt, but I just want to leave it as small as possible because I think we should save some tokens. If we press test workflow now, our mock data will get sent out. So Anthropic news. So let's just test this out. If I simply press right now, test workflow, we will use our AI agent, and the agent searches right now, you see it, Hacker News and the SERP API. And then we will get, of course, an answer back, and the answer will be in this agent. So if we press on these, you see that here we have in JSON all these answers. And this is like really practical, really cool. Here you have the schema and also the table. I think like we have perfect things right here. And you see it, one of the newest things is Claude 3.7 Sonnet. And of course, if we copy these, throw it into Google, we see that 2 days ago, Claude 3.7 Sonnet was introduced to us. So this thing seems to work. And right now I want to show you that this thing also works for us. Right now, something on the sub workflows. You do not have to press active here. They are always active. Let's just come back to personal. Of course, we need to save this. We come back to our main workflow, and let's just see if the search agent is working or not. So we press test workflow. What are the news from Anthropic? We send this out. Our agent works. Let's just push this to the side. You see also our search agent works right now. The search agent will simply trigger, of course, the SERP API and Hacker News, and then we will get a nice summary, and our summary will get sent to Telegram. Of course, this needs a little bit because we have a lot of data that is coming here through. First, Claude 3.7 Sonnet and Claude Code. Anthropic has introduced Claude 3.7 Sonnet, a hybrid reasoning model. And here we can read more. So you can simply press on these links, and you can open these links if you want, and you can read all of it yourself. So this is perfect. Then, Anthropic's Claude 3.7 now available in AWS. Anthropic launches the world's first hybrid model. Anthropic finalizing 3.5 billion funding round. Claude chatbot Maker, Anthropic's plans for major funding round, and so on. So here you see all the news from Anthropic. So it seems that this works perfect. And if you come back to your personal data, if you come back to your sub workflow that is for the search agent here, and if you press on executions, you see that the execution comes through, and here you can also see what happened. So you see we used the SERP API, and if you press on these, you see all the news that we got. And this news, they simply get sent back to our other workflow. So this workflow will simply always work in the background. So we come back into Telegram 1. This thing will always work. And of course, you don't have to press test workflow all the time. You can send this to active, press got it, and then you can talk to this thing, and you will not see this here. You will always see it just in the executions. Search hacker news for Claude, and hopefully we will get an answer back. And there we are, we have all these answers back. And here you see that you do not see it because it's active. But if you come on executions, you see that everything got through. We used also the search agent. Once again, back on personal, we come on our sub workflow, we press on executions, and our newest execution, of course, used hacker news. So this was perfect execution by our agent. And right now you know it, you can go on with these tools. You can press plus, you can insert a vector database, you can insert HTTP requests to other stuff, you can insert whatever you like. You find here all of these tools here, and if a tool is not here, of course, you can simply make another workflow. Let's just include this calculator, also come to the system prompt, and in the system prompt, you also would do something like this. Calculator, use this tool to do math, for example. And excuse me for the typos if there are typos, but I think this is right now fine. This is a really easy and simple to understand workflow with a sub workflow, so we can trigger sub workflows. Congratulations, right now you know how you can trigger Telegram. And in the next video we will go one step further. We will make an agent that is a little bit bigger, and we will include more tools. And we will also be able to talk with this agent. So stay tuned, because the next video gets exciting. In this video we will create once again a Telegram agent, but this Telegram agent will be a lot bigger. It will have access to our mails, to our calendar, and we can also talk to this thing. So not only write with this thing, also talk to this thing. So let's just dive straight into it. First things first, of course, what you can eventually do is to talk to this thing also in this chat. But if you want to do this, you need to deactivate this Telegram agent. So you want to deactivate it. Then we can simply use the same credentials. If you want to leave this active and you want this agent active in this workflow, then you need to create a new agent. So you would simply go to the bot filter, you would press once again /new bot and so on, create your credentials and so on. But for the sake of this tutorial, I just want to keep it all in this thing here. And then we can simply activate the Telegram bots that we want to activate. So first, let's just deactivate this thing right here. Then we press create workflow. We press plus on the first node. Of course, we use once again Telegram. So we press on it. And we use, of course, once again on message event. We connect with this Telegram account 4. So this is basically once again just this chat. So we can simply leave it as it is. And we can press test step in order to test this thing out. If we type in hey, this thing should get triggered immediately. So you see, boom, this thing is working. And if we want that we always talk to this thing, we can simply activate it, press got it. And if we press or type in hey once again, we can come back to executions, and you see that the execution comes through here. If you deactivate this, come back to your personal thing here and activate this Telegram bot from previous. You can chat once again with your old bot, and the old bot can do research. You already know it. If you type in hey right now, our new bot will simply ask you, hello, how can I assist you today? So this will be the bot that we have created, of course, in the last video. So this is important that you understand this. If you want to have it in the same chat, you can simply leave it, throw it to inactive from the old chat, use the new chat and go on here. And if you want to have it in a completely new chat, you can simply create a new one with the same schema that we did in the previous video. But because I want to do it as fast as possible, we just leave it as it is. And we give this our new name. So let's just say Telegram 2. And we go on, of course, with our next node. So we press plus. But right now we need a different node because we want to classify. We also want to talk to this bot. What I want to use right now is the switch node. We press on it, and the switch node, we want to have two values here. Let's just see if this thing is connected. Yes, it's connected. We can also once again type in hey here, so you see it's simply the same chat. So right now you saw that here we have some data, and right now we can map this data. I want to map this in audio and into text, so that we can simply classify our answers. Because here in Telegram you see that you can also talk to your bot. What we want to do is value 1, we want to have text as value 1, we throw it in here. Then we want to rename this output and we simply call it text. And this text here we want to have of course a string, and we want to have exist. So if the string exists, this route will get triggered. And then we want to add another routing rule. The other routing rule, we call it audio. And then we need to give, of course, an audio value. But right now we do not have an audio value, so we need to get one. So let's just get an audio. And we do it by pressing on test workflow. We come back into Telegram. This is a test event. We send this out. Right now we have audio. We can press on it. Right now you see audio value. We find the audio on the left side. Down here you see voice, and what you want to use is the file ID. So we throw in the file ID here. Boom, there we have our classification. So if we have text, our first route will get triggered, and if we have audio, our second rule will get triggered. Let's just test it. If we press on test workflow, and if I type in hey, we should in theory trigger the first route. So you see it here. If we do it once again, press on it, and use the audio as route, you will see that we get the second route down here. If you press on it, you see that the second route, the audio route, got triggered. At least in theory it should work. Why it did not work, I hope you saw it. I have forgot something previously. It's of course not equals to is string and it's exist. So right now it should work. Test workflow. This is our second audio test because I was stupid. And right now it's green, so right now it seems to work. So you see right now our audio route is existing, and now we can go on with our workflow. Now we want to go on with the text route. We press plus. We want to use the edit node. Edit field set. We press on it. Right now we have no data, so of course we need to do it as always, test workflow. We type in hey. Then we have of course our data. The data comes through. We can press on this field. We can give this thing a name, for example text. And then we use the value from here. Let's just see where it is. It is of course the text hey, so we can throw in the value here as text. If you press that step, this thing should come through as JSON, and it's called hey of course. So this thing seems to work. The next thing that I want to use is the advanced AI and the AI agent. And the AI agent, we press on the find below, and we use the text from our edit field. We use the text, we throw it in here. And then we can also just close this down, press plus, because we need a chat model. Let's just use once again, let's just say GPT-4 Omni. I think we need the big one, the small one is like way too weak for our use case right here. And right now we can chat with this thing. So we can test this out. If we simply type in hey once again, our AI agent will get triggered, and if you open this up, let's just see, hello, how can I assist you today, is the answer from our AI agent node. But of course we want to talk with this thing, but we have a problem. If you go on this thing right here, the GPT-4 Omni model, this is not a multi-model model. Of course you can use, for example, the GPT-4 audio preview. This would be multi-model, so you can simply connect this field also here, but only if you use the multi-model AI. Because we do not use this, I think this is way too expensive. We want to do it with a different way. So we want to press plus. We want to have whisper here in between, so that we get a transcript from our audio, and the transcript will then come into our AI model, and then it should work. Before we can use whisper, we need Telegram. We press on it and we need get file. Let's just see, there it is. Right now we have no data, so we will get the data soon. The file ID, we need later the file ID. Let's just type in some numbers so that we can test this out. Let's just press test workflow. This is once again a test event. It comes through. This thing of course is red because we have not connected it correctly. And right now we can give the file ID, so we would delete this of course. If you have already data, you can skip this step with the file ID. You find the file ID down here, voice, file ID. We throw the file ID in here, and then download needs to be toggled on because you want to download this thing. If you press that step, you will be able to download your data. Boom, there we have our data. And with this downloaded data, we can go on. Because this downloaded data, we need Whisper in order to make a transcript from these. So we press plus here. Now Whisper, I do not think that Whisper is included. No, so we need of course the OpenAI node. So we press on it, transcribe a recording, and we can include this. Our OpenAI credentials are connected, resource is audio, the operation is transcribe a recording, and the input field is of course data, so it's basically this data that comes here through, and it's binary, everything is automatically correct, so we press test step, and then in theory we should get this thing right here. This is once again a test event. This is of course the stuff that I told in Telegram previously, so this thing seems to work perfectly. We can close this down, so right now we make a transcript out of this thing. Let's just organize this a little bit. So what we want to do right now is of course to use this transcript and to connect it with our AI agent node. Now this thing from the second root is now also connected to our AI agent, and we need to press on it once again. And once again we need to press on define below. We come back to schema and we include this text from OpenAI. So you can also delete this from previous, and we throw in this stuff down here. This one is a test event, you see it. So let's just see if this is working. Test workflow. Hey ChatGPT, how are you doing? We send this out, we get our transcript, the AI agent node gets us an answer. And if you press on it, hello, I'm just a program, and so on. And now let's just test the text root. So we press on it once again. We type in, hey, it does not really matter, and we also get our answer back. So this is important. Here you see that you will get this completely automatical. So as soon as you use this edit fields text root, our text from JSON will get executed, and if not, of course, also our OpenAI root will get triggered. So this seems to work perfectly. What I like to do right now is of course also to include once again a Windows buffer memory, because I think like a buffer memory is always a cool tool to have. So we simply use the memory, the Windows buffer memory, we include it. Of course we need to press define below. We want to have it once again for 10 messages. We want to have the key, and the key is of course the chat ID. So we simply come back to the chat ID and throw in the chat ID down here, and then we are connected. So right now we have of course also our chat ID included with our Windows buffer memory. Seems to work just fine, at least for me. Now, I have to tell you, if these workflows get a little bit big, it can be that they seem to be a little bit messy from time to time. But of course, you can simply connect them however you find them cool, however they are perfect for you. Right now we have a simple agent that we can trigger via voice and also via messages. But of course we want to talk with this thing inside of Telegram. So of course we need to add Telegram once again. And this time it's of course send a text message. We include it, Telegram for message, send message, then we need the chat ID and the text of course, and you find both of it here. So the chat ID is this one here, and the text is of course the text that comes from the AI agent as output. Hello, how can I assist you today? It's this thing down here, and then we can test it with testing workflow. We open up Telegram. What is an LLM? Explain it fast and easy. We get our transcript, AI agent works, and it tells me what it is. Then we press on it, because once again I do not want to have the n8n attribution, so we toggle it off. We test workflow once again, and we test also the text route. We press send, and boom, hello, how can I assist you today? Now we include mails. So let's just search for, let's just say Gmail, the Gmail tool. And what I want to have is my Gmail account connected. If you do not have it connected, just please create new credentials. Because you are working in the cloud, you can simply press sign in with Google, so this is really easy and fast. So we close this down, I am already connected. The tool description set automatically perfect. Resource is message. The operation is first, let's just say get many. Because I want to have here a little bit of a summary of my mails. I do not want to have too much, let's just say maximum of 10. It should be simplified and all of this should work. So right now Gmail is included, and now we go of course into my AI agent once again, add options, system message. We make it as an expression, we make it big, and now we should start to build out our system prompt, and we will make this bigger over time. And we start with something like this. Role. You are an assistant with access to multiple tools. I just call it multiple because we will add more tools later. Behavior. You respond concisely and succinctly in a friendly and approachable style. Tools. You have access to multiple tools. Always use the appropriate one depending on the task. And one tool is of course the Gmail summary. Use this tool to summarize emails. And of course the Gmail summary tool, we can simply copy these. We come back to Gmail and we need to call this also Gmail summary so that we don't have any confusion. So we want to rename it. And right now, let's just see if this thing is working or not. Test workflow. We can press on it. Summarize my last 3 emails. We will send this out. Let's just see. This thing will get triggered. And now we will get a summary of my last 3 mails. And I will get my summary into Telegram. Let's just see if I can show you these mails. Here are the summaries of my last 3 mails. I have a new customer in one of my products. I have an email about the Make Affiliate program, and I have an email about a podcast episode. And if I come back to my mails, I can show you this thing right here, that I have a new customer here, but everything else, I just don't want to show everything else from my mails. But this thing was accurate. Next thing, I want to also send mails. So I press plus. I use the Gmail tool once again. So Gmail tool, let's just use this time Gmail account, set automatically, message, send. Then to who do I want to send? I can simply let the AI decide, or I can also use a Pinecone vector store, upsert my email addresses and do a lot more. The subject should the AI decide. The type is text. You can also use HTML, use whatever you like, and the message should also the AI decide. So let's just send the email. But before we do this, we need to specify our system prompt. I want to make this big. Besides the Gmail summary, I have my second tool right now. Gmail Send. Use this tool to send emails. You sign every mail with Arnie and never use empty placeholders for names. Ensure that the email are well formatted with a proper body. And I think this is fine. So what we want to do right now is to press test workflow. Let's just type in here some text. Send a mail to this email. Tell him I love the n8n course. And I send it out. It seems to work, everything gets triggered. And Telegram says to me I've sent the email letting them know that you love the n8n course. And if I come back to my mails, feedback on n8n course, I can press on it. Hey there, I just wanted to let you know that I absolutely love the n8n course, and so on. Best regards, Arnie, because we have told this tool that it should always sign off these emails with Arnie. Here is hey there, because I don't have specified any names in this email address. I can simply tell here send a mail to Arnie and let him know and so on. I hope you know what I mean. But what we want to do is, of course, as always, press on it, add options, append n8n attribution. We want to toggle this off. And let's just test this once again. Send a mail to, let's just say, Frank, and tell him good job. His mail is this right here, and then we send this out. Now we need to press test workflow once again, of course. Now our workflow gets executed. Telegram tells me that the email was sent to Frank. Hey Frank, just wanted to drop a quick note to say good job, best Arnie. And this time also no n8n attribution at the bottom. So also this seems to work. Now let's just add the calendar. So we press plus. What we want to do is to use the calendar tool. So Google Calendar tool. On this Google Calendar, a few things are important. Let's just say Google Calendar account, you need to connect, of course, these. So please just press create new and sign in with your Google account if you work in the cloud. And if you work locally, you can also do this with this Google Cloud Console. We have already done this a lot of times. So let's just throw this out of the window because we are connected. The tool description is automatically. The resource is event. The operation is create because I want to create new events. Then the calendar list. I just use this calendar here so that I can show you later. And then these things are important, start and end. Here we want to have the AI deciding. We do not want to have that every event starts now. So the AI should decide. And also the AI should decide when the event needs to end, so that we can simply type in our chat. Then you see, use the default reminders, work for me. Everything else should working right now. Calendar, Google Calendar, I want to rename this. Let's just fix first the system prompt. So we go on to the system prompt, and here we need to do something special right now. Before we start with our tools, I want to do this right here. Date and time, 2 curly braces, this is now really important, a $sign, and we want to have now here, so that the thing always knows what's the date and the time. This is really important. And then we add, of course, our calendar tool. Let's just call it calendar set. Use this tool to schedule appointments in the calendar. So we copy these, we come back here, and this Google Calendar, we call it, of course, let's just see, calendar set, and we press rename, so that we will absolutely use this thing every time that we want to create new events. You also need to make sure to press on these 3 dots, go on to settings, and please remember to use the right time zone so that you do not have any problems with this thing. Now this thing knows what time zone I am living in, and it also knows, because of the system prompt, what time and the date is right now. So let's just test this out. Let's just create an event in my calendar. So this is a calendar that is relatively empty. Today is the 26th. So let's just create an event, for example, for today at, let's just say, in an hour. So let's just say at 5 p.m. We come back here, test workflow, create an event in the calendar. I want to drink a coffee with my mom at 5 p.m. We get our transcript, agent gets triggered, and we have a problem. Why do we have this problem? What's the date for the coffee with your mom? Have I forgot to say this? Create an event in the calendar today. Today I want to drink a coffee with my mom at 5 p.m. Test workflow, it gets triggered, and this time it seems to work. I've scheduled your coffee with your mom today at 5 p.m. and show your time together if there's anything else, and you so on. And you see also the calendar set gets triggered. Let's just come into my calendar, and the calendar is 5 p.m. and if I press on it, yeah, right now we have a small problem. We do not have any name for this, so let's just fix this. We come back to the calendar. We need to have additional fields. Let's just see summary, and the AI should decide. So right now we should also get a title. I think this works better. Save, test workflow, we open Telegram, and let's just do something else. Today at 6 p.m. I need to walk my dog. You should throw it in the calendar. It's working and so on. I've added and so on at 6 p.m. Now we come in the calendar and there we have it. 6 p.m. walk the dog. And if I open it up, it's perfect. So 6 p.m. like 30 minutes, but we can also be more specific because we have also the end date. Let's just test once again with the end date, test workflow. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. I need to walk the dog. It will last 2 hours. You should throw it in the calendar. Agent is working, we trigger the right tool, and we get the message hopefully back, boom. So from 7 to 9, let's just go in the calendar, and there we have it. At 7, walk the dog, and if we open this thing up, it lasts 2 hours until 9. So you see, the calendar set works completely perfect. Let's go on. We want to have a calendar get event, so press plus, no, let's just actually press plus here. Calendar get, so we press on calendar, Google Calendar account set automatically, event is this time not create, but get, no, actually get many, because I want to have a lot of events. We want to use this calendar, return all, yeah, I think it's fine. With 50 limits, I just have some data here. Time, the AI should decide. Also here the AI should decide. And there we have it. Now we come into the system prompt and we add once again a small little tool to our agent. Calendar get. Use this tool to find calendar events and inform me when I have an appointment. I copy this calendar get. And I want to rename the calendar, of course, to calendar get and rename it. Now let's just see if we find these events. Test workflow. Do I have something on the calendar today? The AI decides, uses most likely the calendar get, there we have it. And now we will get the message back. Today you have 2 events actually. So coffee with mom from 5 to 6, walking the dog 6 to 6:30. This works, we have already created these. And what do I have to do tomorrow? Because of our Windows buffer memory, this should work if I press test workflow. Let's just see. We have the context that it should search for the calendar events. There we have it. So in the morning from 7 to 9, I need to walk the dog once again. And at 5, I have a live call. And if we come back to my calendar, let's just close this down. You see, at 7, I need to walk the dog. And at 5, I need to have a live call. So boom, there we have it. We have a gigantic agent that works really, really well. And it was relatively easy to create. Now what you can do here is, of course, to go on with these tools. You can press plus and you can add a vector store. You can also eventually just use Gmail and use every single Gmail tool that you have. So you can just delete stuff. You can get many. Mark as read, mark as unread, remove labels, and so on. You can go on with these events like on and on and on forever. But I have to tell you, sooner or later, this agent will run into problems. If you use like every tool under the sun, you will have gigantic problems. You can add like 4 or 5 Gmail tools or 4 or 5 calendar tools, and it will be messy. In order to make this even bigger, you need to trigger sub workflows, and that's what we want to do, of course, once again in the next video. In the next video, we will go one step further. We will make this agent a lot bigger, and we will also add the function that this agent will talk to us back. So see you in the next video. In the next video, we will create a gigantic agent. We will try to push the limits. We will try to make something like Jarvis from the Marvel movies from Iron Man. So see you in the next one. Because in this video we did a lot. I just wanted to give you a quick overview. We started with the Telegram trigger node. Of course, we need to connect our API accounts. We need to make this token with the Telegram bot. Then we want to have a switch node. The switch node decides if we talk to the AI or if we are writing text to the AI. If we have text, we use the edit fields and throw it in the agent. If we talk to the AI, we need to download our file. The downloaded file will get transcribed by Whisper and then it comes into the agent. The agent has also as resources the text, of course, and a good system prompt. And in the system prompt, we give role, behavior, date and time, and the tools that the agent can use. And then everything that we need to do is, of course, to give the agent a chat model, a Windows buffer memory with the chat ID, and all the tools that the agent should have access to. And lastly, once again, we connect Telegram so that this thing also talks back into Telegram. Congratulations, you have a really good agent, and in the next video, like I told you, we try to push the boundaries a little bit. What we want to do in this video is to push the boundaries a little bit. We want to make this agent bigger, with more sub workflows, and we also want that this agent is talking back to us. The first thing that I want to do right now at this minute is to copy this agent, because this can be a good structure for our agent. So we simply copy all of this agent. We come back to our personal account. We can save these changes, of course. Then we press create new. I call it Telegram free right now. Telegram free. This will be a gigantic agent. We include this agent. And what we do right now is to delete the stuff that we do not need. I don't want to have, for example, the Gmail summary, the Gmail send, the calendar set and the calendar get, because here we want to have sub workflows, and later we also want to include that this agent is talking to us. So first things first, we go of course into our system prompt, we make it big, this thing is all right. Then Gmail summary, Gmail send, yeah, this is not correct. We want to make it a little bit different. I want to delete this thing. We just want to have the Gmail, let's just call it tool. Use this tool every time you need to do something with mails. If you send a mail, you sign every mail with Arnie and so on. Yes, I think our Gmail tool is right. And then not the calendar set and get, we just use calendar tool. Use this tool every time you need to do something with the calendar. And we delete this right here. Don't worry, you will get what we do right here. Then I want to include the research agent. For the research agent, I do something like this. Search agent, use this tool to search the web, hacker news and Wikipedia. And of course, we will add more stuff later, and we will also add that this thing will talking back to us. So let me just show you what we do here. Of course, we are connected with Telegram. This is basically just the same workflow as previous. Everything is connected similarly, but we want to make this a lot bigger and a lot more useful. We press on tools. What we want to do right now is, of course, call n8n workflows. And the first thing that I want to include here is, of course, this thing, our search agent. I hope you see what we do here. I hope you get it. We will call sub workflows every time. And then the description. Use this tool to search the web, hacker, news, and Wikipedia. That's basically it. Then we press on it, we come down, and we use, of course, the tool from previous. And it was the Telegram 1 sub workflow search. So with this thing, we can search the web. Now let's just test this thing out for one brief moment so that we see if this is working or not. And then we can go on with the sub workflows. We press on it, we open this thing up. Are there some news about Anthropic? Call workflow will get triggered. And of course, we have the information about Anthropic from February 2025, so you see this is right. If we come back to personal, go to the Telegram sub-search agent, executions. You saw that an execution comes through right at this minute, so this seems to work. So the first thing is working, and now we go on. We will connect more and more and more sub workflows. This will make a lot of fun, so we can make this really big. And the first thing is that we want to rename this tool, of course. It's the search agent. Copy and rename it. Boom. Now we want to have the sub workflow for Gmails, and I want to show you how we can do this. We come on personal, we save this, of course, create new workflow. And in order to not bore you, I have already created this thing, and you can simply copy this thing. We call this like sub mail agent. And while I am cutting this video, I see this is of course not the sub mail agent. This is the sub calendar agent. Excuse me. It makes more sense if you name this correctly. It's of course called by other workflows. So we can simply throw in here and we accept all data. Then we have the calendar agent tool, where ChatGPT is connected with GPT-4 Omni, of course. Then we have the calendar agent with a good system prompt, so role. You are a calendar agent. Your tasks include creating, retrieving, and deleting events in the user's calendar. Tools, get events, create events, update events, create events with attendee, and lastly, date and time, of course. And then we have all these events. So we have the calendar get event, resources event, operation is get many. It's of course my calendar. Return all is on, but let's just set a limit at 50. This is more than enough. It's of course defined automatically by the model, and the model gives me here a German description because I speak German normally, so this is fine. Just leave it as it is. Maybe this is in English for you. Then we have the create event, and the create event is of course basically the same thing, but create my calendar, and the model decides how to do this. Then we have the create event with attendee. If you need it, you can also delete this. This is basically the same stuff. Then we have the update events and we have the delete events. And we have also two exciting nodes here. We have the success node and the try again node. So if the calendar event gets triggered correctly, it's basically success and it stops. And if it's not successfully, we need to do it again. So the AI will simply work again. So we want to save this. And what we want to do right now is to come back to personal. We come back to our Telegram agent free. We press plus. We use call n8n workflow. And we call this workflow just like we have here. We use the calendar tool. We copy these. We open this up. We call it calendar tool here. Also calendar tool here. Use this tool every time you need to do something in the calendar. Source is of course database, and now we need from list, and in the list we will find the sub mail agent. We can press on these. And also here, of course, sub calendar agent will make more sense, not the sub mail agent. I have only seen this while I am cutting this video, excuse me. So this thing should work right now. Let's just test this out. We can test workflow, create an event for tomorrow in my calendar. At 11 AM I need to walk my dog. Like I have to walk my dog often, come on, I should be a little bit more creative. Calendar tool will get triggered, and the agent tells me that it worked. If I come in my calendar, you see that tomorrow at 11 AM I need to walk my dog once again. And if we come back to personal, save this of course, you see on executions that we got an execution. So we can do everything with this calendar tool. We can also delete events. So let's just test the deleting of the events. Personal, Telegram account 3, test workflow. Of course, later you can press this to active. Delete the event from tomorrow where I want to walk my dog at 11 AM. Gets triggered. Calendar tool gets also triggered. Should be deleted right now. Let's just go into my calendar and you see the event for tomorrow is deleted. So basically with this agent, you can do a lot of things right now with this calendar tool. You can create new events on your calendar. You can get the events so you can see what's on your calendar. You can create events with attendees. You can update events and you can delete events. So this thing can do everything just for you. And I think we should go on, shouldn't we? Because this makes a lot of fun. So we come back, of course, into our Telegram account. We have the research agent, we have the calendar agent. Now we want to have the email agent. So we press plus, call n8n workflow tool. We give it a name. It's, of course, the Gmail tool. We copy these. We give it a name. So this thing right here. Use this tool every time you need to do something with mails. And then the database, of course, we need to define the database first. So let's just define the database. We need to create this thing. I have already created one, so I want to show you how this works. First of all, let's just save this, come back to personal, create new workflow, and I will show you how this works. Here we have the sub workflow for the mails. So I call it sub workflow mails. We start, of course, once again with accept all data. With this when triggered by another workflow. We have our email agent. Of course, the text is always the query that comes through. Then here on the system prompt role, your task is to manage, read and write Arnie's emails. If you simply copy this workflow, make sure to insert your name here. Make sure to use the correct tools based on the request. Then some information, date and time is now. Your format, emails professionally, following standard email writing conversations. The name at the end of the email after the closing is always Arnie. Make sure to insert your name. Then some examples. So the send email to, use the send email tool. Reply to this email with a draft, use the save reply draft tool. Then the tools. Get the email, save email draft, send email, save reply draft, send reply, get labels, label emails, mark read, mark unread. So you basically see you have access to everything. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, this thing will try again. So we simply press save and we connect this with our other agent. So we come back to our personal assistant. We press on Telegram 3. We press here the Gmail tool, of course. And then we can choose this from the list. It's of course sub workflow mails. You can press on these and now we have access to every single thing from our Gmail account. Let's just test this out. Send a mail to my email, write Paul a poem about AI. If I send this out, most likely the Gmail tool will get triggered and then normally I should get a mail into my inbox, but of course you can insert every prompt that you want. Basically it's done. If I come back to my inbox, you see, there is a reply. Of course, you can nail this more down with a better format. I think I will use text instead of HTML. This will make it most of the time a little bit more readable. So let's just come back to personal, save this, the mail agent, the send email, Instead of HTML, let's just use text. Most of the time this works a bit better. I do not know why. Send reply. I want to do the same thing. Let's just use text here. And the rest should be fine. Now let's just test something else about this Gmail tool. Test workflow. Summarize my last 3 emails from the inbox. This thing is working. Gmail tool gets triggered. And this thing tells me that I have an error. So this is, you see, like we try to push the boundaries. And if I come into execution on my Zap workflow, you also see that I have this error here. So this is basically how this works. Maybe if the models get just a little bit smarter, this will work. You can just delete some of this stuff if it's not really necessary for you. You can work your way slowly up or just delete stuff from here. This makes some problems from time to time, especially if we talk with these things. Let's just try this once again. Test workflow. Summarize my last 3 mails. Mail tool gets triggered once again. And this time it worked. But I have to tell you, this can make some problems from time to time. I personally would recommend you to make these automations a little bit smaller. Maybe as soon as you see this course, we have a new model from OpenAI, or maybe you can try this with the Claude 3.7 Sonnet, because this is also a little bit better in tool use. But I have to tell you, we are pushing the boundaries. We are trying to make stuff happening that is really hard to get right. So as soon as you make these workflows gigantic, you will get some errors from time to time, but like I told you, we are here to push the boundaries. So the Gmail tool works, but it does not work all the time. Let's just go on and make this bigger, because this agent works completely fine. Here we can add stuff. The only problem right now is, of course, our Zap workflow with these mails, so we can simply go on and maybe delete 1 or 2 things from here that you don't use all the time. So we come back here, we press create new workflow, and I want to import something from you, and we can include this. Here I have the Zap workflow for X posts. We start once again, of course, with accept all data when triggered by another workflow. Then we have our social media agent. It's a tool agent. And the tool agent has, of course, a nice little system prompt. You are an expert in creating high quality, engaging and modern posts for X, formerly Twitter. You receive information and generate posts that are concise and informative without unnecessary details, engaging and dynamic, trending and optimized, structured for readability. Then the post style. Your post should primarily focus on AI topics and often start with this format. XYZ just dropped XYZ and people are already doing crazy stuff with it. 10 examples. So this is a format that seems to work extremely well with AI content on X. I know a lot of profiles that use exactly this structure to start their posts. Then important when creating a post, always use the Save Post tool to store it. Then the tools you see, it's the Save Post. Use this tool to save the post in a Google Sheets document. Include column 1, current date, column 2, post topic, column 3, post content in plain text. And then you see that on these tools I have this Save Post tool. It's connected with GPT-4 Omni, of course, with my credentials. And the Save Post tool is simply connected with Google Sheets. It's simply from this list. And here we have mapped manually date, theme and posts, and the AI can decide these variables. And you see also in this post here, X posts, date, theme and post. So let's just see if this works or not. If we simply save this, come back to personal, use our gigantic workflow here, press plus to add a tool, call n8n workflow. We simply call it, let's just say X posts, the name X posts, use this tool to post on X, database from list. It's of course our Zap workflow X posts. Rename, save, system prompt. We make it big. We do this right here. X posts, use this tool to post on X. And now let's just see how this is working. So we simply save this, and what I want to do right now is that our search agent searches something in the web, and then our X post agent should go on and post it. Search the news about Claude 3.7 Sonnet and make a X post about it. We send it out, we press test workflow, this thing gets triggered. First we trigger the search agent. The search agent will come most likely back with the results. Then our OpenAI node works again. The X post agent works again. we get our Telegram message. Telegram tells me that it is done basically. So let's just come back to personal, sub workflow exposed. On editors, you see that this seemed to work. So let's just go into my Google Sheets. We have the date, we have the theme, and we have the post. Claude 3.7 Sonnet just dropped on AWS and people are already doing crazy stuff with it. 10 examples. Achieved 60.4% on a leaderboard and so on. Yeah, this could be maybe also a little bit better. This is why I don't like to post immediately at X, but you see, at least it seems to work. Because in theory, you can also come back to this editor. You can simply press plus. You can search, for example, on the X API, X, or let's just call it Twitter, X, formerly Twitter tool. You can include this, then you can connect your credential, of course, the description set automatically, the resource is tweet, the operation is create, and then the text you throw in, the text of course from your AI agent, and then you can also post immediately. That's something that you can do, but that's something that I would not necessarily recommend, because this thing can always make mistakes, and that's why I do not like to post immediately. This is more for the purpose of trying these things out. These things will come. Just trust me. You will simply can type into Telegram, post on X, and then you are ready to rock. But for right now, we are not at this point, so we need to work with the stuff that we have. So simply try with this a little bit. Save it, for example, in Google Sheets or wherever you like. You can also save it as a normal text file if you like. Maybe this makes more sense for you. And then you see that you will save a lot of time over time as soon as this stuff gets better. We are on the cutting edge of technology here. So please remember, LLMs can always have some downsides. Let's go on, we are not done. Personal, create workflow. Here we have this contact agent, and let me show you what this contact agent can do. Let's just assume that you have contacts in a Google Sheet. For example, name, email, and the phone number. This could be leads, this could be whatever for your business. Then we have this agent. We use, of course, as always, accept all data by triggering this workflow. Then we have the contact agent. Here we have a nice system prompt. Role, you are an assistant for contact management. Your tasks include retrieving contacts, adding new contacts, and updating contact information. The tools, get contacts. Use this tool to retrieve contact information, and then add contacts. Use this tool to save new contact information. And then you see we have access, of course, to GPT-4 Omni as the LLM. Then we have get contacts from Google Sheets. So we have basically just contacts from the list. So it's basically this Google Sheet. And then we also have add contacts. It's basically also this Google Sheet. We map everything manually. We use email. We let the AI decide name. We let the AI decide and phone. We let the AI decide. Then we save this. Then we need to give it a name. Let's just say sub workflow contact agent. We press save. Come back on personal. We come into our other agent. We press plus on these tools. Call n8n workflow, name, contact, agent, we also rename it here, contact agent, use this tool to get contacts and save new contacts. From list, sub workflow contact agent, and we are basically done. We press save and we test this out. Test workflow, add this to contacts, Arnold Oberleiter, then my mail, and then a random phone number. We send this out, agent gets triggered, we use the contact agent, we get our message back, we come to personal, sub workflow contact agent, executions, add contact was triggered, we come to Google Sheets, and you see in the Google Sheets is right now my contact. And right now I want to show you that this should also work if we come back to personal, use our agent, test workflow, we can also get these contact names. Give me the email from, let's just say Peter Small from my contacts. Seems to work. peter@beat.com. So you see, all of this is working. And right now we do the most exciting part. We want to add something that this thing is talking back to us. So we throw this thing here out a little bit. We want to have here a new node. I want to have a basic LLM chain. Then we come back here, defined below. We go on to expression. We go on schema. We want to have the output from the AI. We want, of course, the output from this AI agent, and we throw this in. Now, we do not want to have that this thing tells me exactly what this thing is telling us. I want to do something special. I want to add a prompt. We press on define below. We make this as expression. We make it big. And now we do something really funny. You are Sally, a funny guy that makes sarcastic comments and funny anecdotes about topics. You try to roast the topics and be really funny about it. Or, and insult a bit. And then we do this right here, topics, and the topic is always the output from the AI. Now we can close this down because we need a model, so we press plus. We use, let's just say once again, an OpenAI model. We use GPT for Omni. I think Omni is more fun than the mini model. So this thing is right now connected. Yeah, let's just throw it here. It's okay for me. Let's just test this step and see if we get something back or not. No input data yet. So we need input data first. Test workflow. What is a LLM? Agent is working. This chain is working. Now we get this back. And if we press on this chain, oh, the majestic LLM, the shiny new and so on. I think this is too long. You answer really short. Just 1 or 2 punchy lines. This thing should be fine right now. Test workflow. I want to ask this thing once again. Let's just see. LLM in AI, teaching computers to speak human, because we clearly need more gibberish online. LLM in education, more degrees, more depth. But hey, now you can sue AI for stealing your job. Yeah, this is great. Just not 1 or 2, I think just 1 punchy line would be perfect for us. So this thing should work right now, but this thing should talk and not only write to us. So we press plus, we use OpenAI, generate audio. By the way, you can also analyze images, you can generate images, you can do whatever you want. But for this tutorial, generate audio, I think then this thing is big enough. We have our credentials, resources audio, operation is generate audio, then the model, TTS1 or TTS1 HD, this is up to you, just use what you like, the normal one is a bit cheaper to use. Then the text input, now this is important, here we need the text input of the basic LLM chain and not of the normal LLM chain, because we just want to have these punchy lines as voices. And what's the voice? I think Alloy is fine, but you can play with these voices from OpenAI a bit. I think Alloy sounds nice. We can press test step, and yes, this should work. Basically, everything that we need right now is the Telegram node so that we also get a message. So Telegram, we press on it, and here we want to have sent an audio file. We are connected, Telegram account and so on. Everything that we need right now is of course the chat ID. And for the chat ID, we need of course some data. Let's just press here 1A so that we can get the data through and then we can finish this workflow. Once again, what is a LLM? Our thing is working, it's generating. Boom, the last thing that we need is of course our chat ID here, so we can press on it, schema, then we can scroll down, it's the chat ID here, we can delete this, we throw in the chat ID, that's it. File needs to be binary because we send audio files, so the input binary field is here data and the reply markup is none, so this works. And now this thing should work, at least in theory, so let's just save it and now we can test it out. We can press on Telegram once again. What is a LLM? We send it out. Of course, test workflow. We get our answers back here and also here. So here we get the normal answer. What's an LLM? And here we get our salty assault.
Got it. Either a nerdy AI that writes better essays than you, or a fancy degree for writing legal gibberish in style.
Perfect. This works perfect for me. We can do it. Come on. Let's just test this thing out a few times. Test workflow. What is an LLM? Agent gets triggered, LLM chain gets triggered.
An LLM and AI are law. One generates words, the other generates debt.
Haha, perfect. What is an AI agent? Explain it fast.
AI agents, the only thing evolving faster than your excuses for not going to the gym.
Perfect. Will AI agents change the world?
AI agents. They're like teenagers, promise to change the world, but mostly ask dumb questions and play video games.
Nice, nice. And here we always get the normal answer. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. everybody understands that AI agents will change the world. Set the event in my calendar. Seems to work. Calendar tool gets triggered. LangChain gets triggered.
AI agents change the world. Sounds like the plot of a bad sci-fi movie starring my toaster.
Perfect, perfect. Let's just test it actually with my phone because we can access this from wherever. Test workflow. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. everybody understands that AI agents change the world. Set the event in my calendar.
AI agents changing the world? More like trying to teach my toaster to do calculus.
And the event is of course set into my calendar. What is an AI agent?
AI agents, because even robots need a hobby pretending to be smarter than us.
Send a mail to Arnie that I love his course about AI automation. Agent gets triggered. Gmail tool gets triggered.
Did you thank him for teaching robots to do our jobs before they inevitably take over the world?
And if I come in my mails, there is it of course. Today I am totally toasted. Do I have something on my calendar?
Hey, look at you with the major life event of walking your dog at 6 p.m. They're really rolling out the red carpet for you, huh?
And here are of course my events. Exactly from my calendar. Search the web about news from Anthropic. Research agent gets triggered. We have the news.
1. Hybrid reasoning models, because regular confusion wasn't complex enough. 2. Claude 3.7. Finally, a sonnet that's guaranteed to outbore Shakespeare. 3.5 billion fundraiser. They're charging us for believing in headlines now too, huh? 4. $61.5 valuation. More zeros than my dating life.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Let's just make an X post. Write a X post about Claude. Agent gets triggered. X post gets triggered.
Claude 3.7, making sure your robot poetry and coding errors hit new heights of confusing brilliance.
Perfect, and everything is set in Google Sheets. Add him to contact. Frank Zane, phone number and email. Contact agent gets triggered.
Ah yes, Frank Zane, because saving Mr. Universe's number is just my daily mundane task.
And there we have Frank Zane in Google Sheets. What's the mail of Sam Big from my contacts?
Sure, just email Sam. He loves spam more than canned meat.
There's the mail. Of course, the stuff from my sheets. I hope you see how powerful these AI agents are, and I can assure you, I can nearly guarantee you that this is the worst tool that you will ever use. These tools get better every year, every month, every week, every day. We get new models all the time, so I am relatively sure that you can build really cool things. So have fun trying this stuff out. I am sure you will love it. And you can make these things bigger, smaller, you can adjust them perfectly for you. I will give you all my workflows, so I am relatively sure you can do something with these workflows. Just make them bigger, smaller, however you like. Maybe the Gmail tool, make it a bit smaller. This made some problems from time to time, but the rest seems to work perfectly. You have an unbelievably big amount of options to create such AI agents. You can really automate whatever you want. In this video I want to give you like some examples because this is really endless. Now some of the easiest agents that you can eventually make is, for example, such social media agents. You can trigger these, of course, like with a chat trigger, with a manual trigger, with a time trigger, with whatever you want. And you can automate like X posts, you can automate Medium posts, you can automate Facebook posts, you can automate Instagram posts. You find everything here. If you simply press plus here, you can connect whatever you want. You can simply throw out here a line. And you can really automate like your whole social media. You can also use LinkedIn. You can use whatever you want. If you want to post on LinkedIn a lot, use create a post on LinkedIn and do this stuff as always. You connect your credentials. The resource is most likely post because you want to post on LinkedIn. The operation is create, post as person of course. Then you give the person name or ID. and the text that you want to post, most likely the text from the AI. And of course, you can do this with everything. So you would connect whatever you want, you go on this AI agent, you give a good system prompt, and then you can automate like your whole social media if you want. In this agent, you would most likely use a system prompt that describes exactly how you would like to post on LinkedIn, how do you like to post on X, how do you like to post on Medium, and so on. You can also make a big agent that uses, for example, down here these tools, use call workflow, and then has one specific agent that is, for example, the LinkedIn agent. And this LinkedIn agent is especially prompted for posts on LinkedIn. Then the next workflow that you trigger with this tool, with the call n8n workflow, that is triggering our X agent, and so on. So you can do whatever you want. And you can connect these APIs directly if it's not too risky for you. And if it's too risky for you, of course, you can also save it as a draft, like in Google Sheets or somewhere. Then you have, of course, a lot more options. Let's just save this thing. I have also found this work. This is the so-called AI-powered social media amplifier, and this is a really good workflow. So here you have a scheduled trigger. You can do this, for example, every 6 hours. So you would do this 4 times a day. 4 times a day you would crawl Hacker News and extract GitHub links. That's of course this link right here. So here we use a HTTP request node. The method is get. The URL that we crawl is this right here. Authentication is of course none. And down here are the responses. Then we extract the metadata with this node, for example. Here you also see the code. I will give you all of these workflows, of course. Then we will store stuff in our Airtable. Of course, you need to connect your credentials as always, and then this thing is no longer red. After that, of course, you use a merge node here to merge this stuff together. Then you can filter unposted items. Once again, we use a HTTP request node, and here is always everything like written out. Automate the decoration and sharing of trending GitHub discussions from Hacker News to Twitter and LinkedIn. This workflow leverages AI to generate engaging posts, streamlining your social media and content creation and distribution. So basically, you will get infos from GitHub and Hacker News, and we will share them on X and LinkedIn. Then of course we will extract here everything and convert it into Markdown. This is also a nice note. It's simply called HTML to Markdown, and we throw the data into Markdown so that the LLM can work a little bit better with this data. Then we validate the generated content with this thing here. After that we have the filter arrow node. We create an item in Airtable once again. We pin ourselves. We wait for 5 minutes before we post. Then we can, of course, send these messages to X and to LinkedIn, and then we save this stuff once again in Airtable. So you see, this is a really good template. This is of course a setup template, so I have not made this template myself. You can find this template here in templates. You can press on it, and here you can find a lot of stuff. If you simply type in social media, you will find most likely a lot of social media workflows. AI-powered social media content generation and publisher. So here, for example, is another thing. You can totally work with this. You can simply type in whatever you want. You want to crawl the web? Just search for crawling. Autonomous AI crawler. And here we have the workflow. You can go back, you want to scrape latest GitHub trending repos. Of course, you can also scrape them. You can do whatever you want. You can find so many projects also here. It is for me absolutely not possible to show you every single scenario because there are so many scenarios. But with this scenario, you can scrape GitHub. Request to GitHub trend. So you see the trending projects from GitHub with a HTTP request node. Then we extract the box, extract all repos, turn it into a list, extract the data, and see the result variables. So basically you can find whatever you want if you search just a tiny bit. You need to think for yourself. What do you want to automate? Do you want to scrape the web? Do you want to have a gigantic personal AI assistant? Do you just want to store something in Airtable? Do you want to have something with Google Sheets? Do you want to connect it with WhatsApp, with Telegram? Please think for yourself, find the right workflow for you, build out the right workflow for you. You already saw how gigantic we can make these workflows, and by the way, this workflow is once again a workflow where AI is not even included. So you don't have to always think about these gigantic AI agents. You can make a lot of stuff, you can find a lot of stuff, and my biggest recommendation is that you try new things out. Have fun trying this. In this video I want to share two of my biggest tips that I can give you if you want to create gigantic AI agents, gigantic AI automations. The first thing is about building these AI agents. You should build reactively, just like you saw it in a lot of my videos. So build a structure for the AI agent, make it really simple, and then add a tool. See if it works, add another tool. See if it works, add another one. And so you can go on until your system breaks. This is at least how I see it, reactive creating, because you can always add something new and see if it works. If it doesn't work, you know until what point this stuff is working. So you can absolutely understand and know what you need to fix. If you add a bunch of tools at once, like 10 or 12 tools, like 5 or 6 sub workflows, and the sub workflows are also gigantic, your application can eventually break. And then debugging is a mess because you do not know what exactly did got wrong. This is one of the biggest tips that I can give you. And the second thing is also reactive prompt engineering. Yes, we have this ChatGPT agent, this GPT, that we can use in order to write these prompts. But what I like to do most is, of course, also the reactive prompting. We add one tool, we test it. If the tool will not really work, we also add a line to the prompt, to the system prompt, and then we can basically build and prompt reactively. If something breaks, we know exactly what broke our system. Maybe it's 1 or 2 sentences in our system prompt. Maybe it's one new tool that we have included. If we do every single thing at once, if we build out 100 tools at once and a gigantic system prompt and our system works not robust, we don't have any clue what is going wrong. The debugging is a complete mess. This is one of the biggest tips that I want to give you. Basically, these are 2 tips: reactive building and reactive prompting. This will save you a lot of time, even if you are slower at the beginning, but the debugging will work a lot faster. So you can totally do this. In this section we have learned a lot. You have learned that you can do self-hosting either over Render, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, on your own servers. You can use the plan from n8n, so choose your weapon wisely. I think Render is relatively cool because here it's really cheap, and if you want to have it really easy, use n8n. And you can also start for free on n8n. You can also start for free on Render, but then your instance will spin down, so you need to pay the $7 if you want to have a persistent disk. And the hosting is especially important if you want to sell your workflows later, or if you want to implement these workflows in other web pages, in your own web page, or if you want to access your workflows from other PCs or from your phone, and if you want to include trigger nodes like WhatsApp, Telegram, and so on. So basically hosting is important for a lot of use cases. Then we started to build a bot that we can access from WhatsApp. Basically, you just start with a WhatsApp trigger node, you include your credentials that you get from the Facebook developer console, then you can build your agent, and you end of course once again with a WhatsApp node with the send message node, and you need to connect your other credentials that you can also get from the Google Cloud console. It's a bit confusing, I know, and that's why we took a look on Telegram over the next videos. Telegram is one of the most popular trigger nodes in n8n, and I think for a good reason. It works good, it works easy, and it's fast. We started with a relatively simple Telegram agent that can simply use sub workflows. Then we made a bigger Telegram agent. We can talk to this Telegram agent, and this agent can use a lot of different tools. It can send mails, get mails, set calendar events, get calendar events, and basically it's a cool assistant. And then we tried to push the boundaries. We made our agent a lot bigger, with a lot of different sub-workflows, and every sub-workflow has a separate agent that can trigger a lot of different things. And lastly, we have also included that this thing can talk back to us. It will give us some salty comments, so this makes fun, come on. Then we simply took a look that you can build basically everything, social media agents and a lot more, you already saw it. And my most important tips are that you can build as you go and you can prompt as you go. This makes more sense because debugging is easier. If you throw in everything at once, it can get hard to find the problem. So basically just build as you go and prompt as you go. So you have really learned a lot in this section, and I want to tell you what learning is. Learning is same circumstances but different behavior. Maybe until now you did not know how to host it, how to trigger it from WhatsApp or Telegram, and how you can make such big workflows. And I want to tell you that you have only learned if you do. So please try yourself out. Also try to push the boundaries, or at least copy some of my workflows. You have the JSON download. Only then you have learned. And I also want to tell you what really good learners do. Of course, they learn together, because more people always know more than few people. And we could reach this goal by you sharing this course. If you share this course with a friend, and the friend gets value out of this course, the friend will describe the value to you because you have told them. And then we have our win-win-win situation. I reach more people, your status rise, and your friends can learn. Thank you for that, and I'll see you, of course, in the next section. Because in the next section we need to talk about debugging and also the HTTP requests. These are two things that make a lot of people a lot of problems. And you do not want to have any problems.